Captain, we've got a problem out here.
What? What is it?
Just to be sure, there's a spoiler. Star Wars Skeleton Crew just released its final episode, and one line proves that Star Wars' newest show perfectly understands the main message that Star Wars movies and TV shows have communicated from the very beginning. Skeleton Crew has truly proven itself as one of Star Wars' best TV shows. Not only does the cast comprise some of the best new Star Wars characters from 2024, but also Skeleton Crew struck exactly the right balance between innovative characters, planets, and concepts, and a respect for Star Wars history. The show accomplished this in a number of ways, ranging from Skeleton Crew's Easter eggs to the new planets in Skeleton Crew. Now, one moment in the final episode of Skeleton Crew has confirmed more than ever that the show captures the true message of Star Wars. In fact, this moment may be the best way Disney Star Wars has honored George Lucas's intentions for Star Wars to date.
3, 2...
Welcome to Movie Spy. George Lucas always knew Star Wars was for children. The messages and lessons in Star Wars have always been geared towards kids. There has long been discourse about whether Star Wars is for kids, although George Lucas was clear that Star Wars stories were targeted to children. Over time, this has become even more evident with shows like Star Wars The Clone Wars and especially more recent additions like Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures clearly skewing toward a younger audience. Even with the original trilogy, though, this was the case. Now, Skeleton Crew has built upon that history with a cast that almost entirely comprises children, at least among its main characters. That doesn't mean Star Wars isn't compelling to older audiences. On the contrary, the Star Wars fan base is widespread. This target demographic does connect to the message of the franchise, however. Not unlike fairy tales and fables, there are plenty of lessons to be learned from Star Wars, especially when it comes to holding on to hope and believing that things can get better. Fern perfectly sums up the central theme of Star Wars. Fern's description of the galaxy is precisely what Star Wars has shown all along. In the Skeleton Crew finale, Fern was crouching with her mother Farah, with Jod looking on and menacingly holding a blaster, and it was clear Farah was terrified. She lamented that Fern had been exposed to such things, as the barrier of At-Aten was meant to keep the children safe from the harsh realities of the galaxy. Fern's response to her mother proves that Skeleton Crew understands the true meaning of Star Wars, hope. Fern responded to her mother by explaining that, yes, they had seen terrifying, horrible things in the galaxy while they were making their way home. Yet Fern then added, everywhere we went, even the worst places, there were still good people. Although a small statement, Fern's comment to her mother captures precisely the message Star Wars has always communicated, beginning with a new hope. No matter how dark things become, hope, kindness, and goodness can still be found. This is exactly what Luke Skywalker symbolized nearly 50 years ago. During the dark times, it seemed impossible to stop the Empire, yet Luke, someone who at the time seemed to be little more than a young, starry-eyed farmer from an obscure planet, was able to fight for what was right and persevere. In the years since, Star Wars has revealed that there were many people across the galaxy who were also fighting, even when the Empire's brutality felt insurmountable. Wim really is the next Luke Skywalker. Skeleton Crew perfectly sets Wim up to be the next Luke. In addition to Fern's comment to her mother being representative of Star Wars' true message, Wim was also clearly positioned as the new Luke Skywalker. Like Luke, from the very beginning of Skeleton Crew, it was clear that Wim wanted to leave his planet and experience true adventure. Over the course of Skeleton Crew, Wim realized that adventure wasn't exactly what he'd expected it to be, as the galaxy was much darker and scarier than he'd anticipated. The Skeleton Crew ending confirmed that Wim truly was ready for even more bravery and adventure, though. Not only did Wim leap into action to save Fern and end up escaping an attack by violent pirates in the process, but also, the end of Skeleton Crew saw Wim looking up longingly at the X-Wings. Clearly, Wim's interest in the galaxy isn't gone, which may mean Wim's Star Wars story isn't over yet. Whether it is or not, the Star Wars Skeleton Crew finale revealed that this Star Wars show completely understands George Lucas's original message. Thanks for watching.